Good morning. Good morning. It is Wednesday and we are talking about psychological disorders, but specifically neurodiverse disorders. So these psychological disorders, we can go through any of these and it's unbelievable how many there are. So first one's about diagnosing disorders, but then there's depression, bipolar disorder, perinatal mental illness, DMDD, which is disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, panic disorder, specific phobias, agoraphobia, claustrophobia, GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, separation anxiety disorder, selective mutism, OCD, obviously obsessive compulsive disorder, hoarding disorder, BDD, body dysmorphic disorder, skin picking and hair pulling disorders, illness anxiety disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, ASR, which is acute stress reaction, adjustment disorder, reactive attachment disorder, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, delusional disorder, and then dementia. CTE, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Delirium, which is acute confusional state. Substance use disorder, impulsive control and addiction, gambling disorder, kleptomania, pyromania, DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, depersonalization and derealization. Dissociative amnesia, anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, PICA, which is, isn't that your hair pulling or something? I've heard of PICA. Communication disorder, sleep disorder, which might be me because I only sleep 4 hours a night. Tic disorders, PD, which is personality disorders, and then other disorders. So that is what's in there. Does anyone fancy me going into detail about any of those particularly, or shall I choose? Because I could literally go, what did I say? Oh, I know Catatonia I'm going to have a look at. There's literally only, so it's on 2 pages, and that one's schizophrenia, so there's only that, so let me read out a little bit. An episodic condition that affects both behaviour and motor skills, catatonia is characterised by abnormal psychomotor functioning and extreme unresponsiveness when awake. Oh yeah, if you're in a catatonic state, I suppose, yeah. I've heard of that, but I didn't know it was called catatonia. Right, so what is it? Catatonia is a state of immobility that can persist for days or weeks. Those with the condition may have an extremely negative outlook and may not respond to external events, become agitated, have difficulty speaking due to extreme anxiety, and refuse to eat or drink. Symptoms also include feelings of sadness, irritability and worthlessness, which can occur nearly every day. An individual may lose interest in activities, lose or gain weight suddenly, have trouble getting in and out of bed and feel restless. Decision making is impaired and suicidal thoughts are common. The condition can have a psychological or neurological cause and may be associated with depression, and then it tells you what page that is, or psychotic disorders. It is estimated that 10 to 15% of people with catatonia also have symptoms of schizophrenia, page blah, 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 while about 20 to 30% of individuals with bipolar disorder, page 40, blah, blah, may experience catatonia, mostly during their manic phase. Okay, diagnosing catatonia. Keep me on you. A mental health professional observes an individual and looks for a number of symptoms. At least 3 out of the 12 symptoms described right, which I'll go through in a second, must be present to confirm a diagnosis of catatonia. And then it goes into treatment, medication and electroconvulsive therapy, but the 12 things are mutism, and then it tells you about it, so it's silent and unapparent, unwilling to or unable to speak. I won't go into the detail, I'll just give you the headlines, well, unless we need to. Echolalia, and constantly repeats what other people have said. Grimacing, distortion of the face. Stupor, immobile, lacks expression. Catalepsy, may be rigid, have a seizure or be completely unresponsive to this trance-like state. Wavy flexibility, limbs can be moved by someone else and will remain in the new position. Agitation, mannerism, which is strikes, poses, or makes idiosyncratic movements. And posturing moves from one unusual position to another. Stereotypy, it's frequent, persistent, repetitive movements. And then negativism, resistant to any outlook other than a negative outlook. Okay, so yeah, not willing to budge, basically. And echopraxia, which is constantly mimics other people's movements. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. So there you go. So that's it. So in a nutshell, it's if you were doing psychology, it's like crib sheets, basically. I think it's a fantastic book. So it's that anyway. So I have now purchased it. So instead of having to give it back, I am giving the new copy to my friend when it arrives, and keeping this for myself so I can use it for us. All right, take care. Bye for now.